Yeah, man, how have you been?
I've been good. I've actually been looking into Orthodox Christianity.
It's about relationship, not religion.
Man, shut your
I hope you guys enjoyed that exceedingly funny animation I put together. That took a lot of time. It took like 45 minutes. Appreciate y'all, man. But yeah, for real though, the topic of today is relationship and not religion. And again, I'm not Orthodox yet. This isn't on behalf of the church or anything. This is, whoa, my camera's moving. I'm moving around too much. Anecdotal, okay? But yeah, nah, for real though, I think that this phrase that is completely overused is oftentimes just parroted. Like people hear a pastor say this and they'll say it just kind of ignorantly, not really knowing why it is. And oftentimes I think the pastor will have like a Catholic background or something like that. And so they've got, church hurt, not to invalidate, those that actually have experienced something pretty traumatic in the church. I'm not here to pick and choose whose stories are valid and who aren't, but I do know a lot of people that were like, yeah, I had to go to Sunday school every Sunday and my childhood was so hard and it's like, bro, like, yeah, that's what's going to be asked of you as a child when you're growing up in the church. Yes, you have to attend Sunday school. That does not equate to like, you get what I'm saying. There's worse stuff that has occurred. Okay, anyways. But yeah, so I think a lot of people say that out of just like ignorance. And this whole phrase is very like it's almost like prideful in its essence because whether or not they realize when they say that, that's how it comes off. It's you're essentially saying like, I know better. There's no authority on earth that could possibly know better than me because religion is the boundary that contains this faith. You need to have structure because if it's a matter of like, a when I feel like it basis, that's kind of just like a really crappy relationship. And this is supposed to be our relationship with Christ, who is our Savior, right? And so we're supposed to live in submittance to Him. And so if the church has established foundational kind of like cultural tradition, rules, all whatever you want to address it as, which are, attend church on Sunday, participate in community, like just really general vague ideas. And if that's rubbing you the wrong way to the point where you're like, this is legalism. I'm being asked to go to church every Sunday. This is legalism. It's like, dude, you're cooked. You're not going to grow in your faith if you are like using the thief on the cross example for yourself, where you're like, I don't need to do anything as long as my faith is genuine. Well, how genuine is your faith if you're so quick to push back on being asked to show up to church? Or, if you're being asked to fast and you're like pushing back on it as legalism. Like the definition of legalism, I think, is also something that these folks that say this don't really have down. It's like a problem with like an authority figure. My mom used to say that I had problem with authority when I was younger, and I wouldn't disagree with her. I really hated people telling me what to do as a tween, and I didn't handle it well. And so I kind of get it, even when buddies of mine now will rebuke me for saying something out of pocket, I'm like, my first instinct, it's like human nature. You're at first like, but then you sit on it for 2 minutes and you're like, okay, no, that was fair. Religion is incredibly important. Like there's a reason that this tradition's been passed down and that Orthodox Christianity has the pull that it does now, that it kind of has some momentum online and more people in the West are getting exposed to it. Like there's a reason people are like flocking back to this because when you're attending a church and it's so diluted to the point where they just want to make it easy to welcome folks, like you're not growing, and that's why turnover is so high, and there's like these high rates of like church hopping, and they need to create this like church membership where you can't get plugged into anything unless you're rooted there. The catalyst being they don't ask much of you and you don't feel like you're growing, and so you want to try something new, and then they have to like rope you in and keep you there in order to get plugged in, and that way you like build your community there and yada yada. Okay, at the end of the day, like I pray for all of my lukewarm and baby Christian acquaintances and friends out there, and just I hope that y'all lock in and find orthodoxy. This is the way. Trust. This is the way.